I'll figure that part out because I was like, ah, shit.
Yeah. Okay.
It wouldn't
Can
be
you
a
hear
Rob
us on
stream
stream?
without.
Yeah.
There it
Yeah.
goes.
Is the audio working? Hello? Hello? Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Rob2e's stream. I'm Drake, and there are a couple of people here hanging out with me. What's up, everybody? Say hello.
Hey everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight.
That's Maticuri.
Yeah, it's me.
Hello, everybody. I'm Robin.
We have
Thanks
Robin.
thanks to everybody for showing up and coming here to support us, and thanks to Drake and Manicuri and everybody behind the scenes making this happen.
Everyone, this is Gwydion. Yeah, it's great to see so many people out and celebrate Rob. So we really appreciate you guys coming by to watch the stream.
And last but not least, Laren, Fantasy Grounds Academy. I'm glad that you guys made the show or watching it later. Thanks for showing up, man.
Yeah,
And
what's up,
Sven, I
guys?
see you there in the chat. Why the heck aren't you on audio?
Yeah, you're
Me?
invited. You could be
Join
here
us.
if you want. We see a lot of people out there. Notham, Dizzy D, Bane, Delta, Messi. Hey, Messi, what's up? Eraser, all you guys. We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Eraser is just you.
Simbarchi, what's up, everybody?
I got a
I don't
good
even.
group of people here.
I don't even have Chatty open. What am I doing? I'm opening that right now.
It wouldn't be
Hey,
a Rob stream without forgetting things and
Oh yeah,
things
and the
messing
audio
up.
breaking.
Yeah.
can we update that spreadsheet, please?
You
I
highlight that
can't. I
last
didn't.
one
He
in
didn't give
green.
me.
You
He didn't give
should
me
because
permission.
I might have.
oh well, if any of you have
Uh,
permission,
Let me
update it.
check.
Google
that's
Sheets, I
just
do not have access yet.
That's
Oh.
just a screenshot.
Bob will be joining us shortly.
Hey, that was cool, Gervy doll. Right on, man.
And McClancy, don't think we didn't see that 82-month resub. That has
Right?
to be the record
Oh
out
my
there.
god.
I think that's the record.
Yeah, that must be. Because I think McClancy was playing with him a lot when I first met Rob,
All right.
or at
So
least on the stream.
Ooh, I don't
we
have
do
edit
have
permission.
some
Okay.
pictures of Rob that we're gonna show. Let me turn that on real quick.
Okay.
One
Yeah,
of
I've
these
got
buttons.
49 months that I subscribed to Rob's, and my first time I chatted with Rob was almost exactly 48 months ago.
There he
It
is.
was watching on his stream, the
Nice.
man
Yeah.
with the mug. Oh,
Here,
goodness.
I could turn that spreadsheet off too. I could put it in the back. Boop.
Kevin.
Did he ever? I never really asked him, but did he ever change from his little laptop that he ran everything on without a second screen, or did
Yeah,
he
he did.
always keep
Yes,
that?
yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
Yeah, he updated, but about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, it was right
more.
before he moved.
Right. Yep.
I mean, when he and I first connected back in like 2015, he did everything off of his
Colorado.
chair with a tiny laptop. It was crazy.
With the Millennium Falcon behind him.
Yep.
That's right. That's
We were
right.
just talking about that. Let's see. Eraser, there is a link somewhere about him and Klein, which if you guys haven't known, his comedy partner does know about his passing. I reached out to his or to
Yeah,
Klein, which is Ray.
he spoke to him on Thursday, just
Okay,
before he passed. So they spent about half an hour, 45 minutes on the phone together.
that's
Nice.
perfect. Yeah, I didn't
Do you
know.
guys want
So.
me to share the comedy YouTube link in chat, or Drake,
Yeah,
do you want to play it on the stream?
I think just share the link maybe because the stream thing is gonna if it
Yeah,
has
let's put it in
audio.
chat. That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
Rob did it
Yeah.
one time on stream and it was horrible. You couldn't
Okay.
really
Yeah,
watch
it's an
Uh,
80s VHS, so.
it. Yeah.
Need me to post that in chat?
Got it.
All right. So for any of you who want to see, oh, you got it. Rob's comedy routine.
There's also a audio recording somewhere out there on the internet. I only listened to it once, but It was called, I believe it's "Do Women or Beer Have the Advantage?" And he goes through different situations where advantage beer or advantage women. Um, but yeah, it's you can find it if you Google, and it's like buried in the list of links, but just the audio.
Huh. Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
So which one of us met Rob first? Was that you, Leroon,
Or
Yeah,
Gwydion?
or
probably.
Gwydion?
Probably Gwydion because I met him September 7th, 2017, and that was
Okay.
online. So I don't know if that counts or not, but that's the
I,
first time
I
we
Well,
spoke.
if online didn't count, I wouldn't have met him till last year. So
Right,
Yeah,
but I
no,
don't.
yeah.
online counts.
Just making sure we had the right thing here. But
I
yeah,
right.
think it was late 2015, early 2016, and he and I both found Fantasy Grounds together. And I actually jumped in. He posted McClancy. Heck, he probably knew him before I did.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably predates me.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Well, with
But
his
yeah, I mean, it
84,
was
82-month streak, yeah, he
right.
had to have.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got in his Unknown Whom game in 2016. I don't know why we played so early, but it was like 4:30 in the morning my time, and
Damn.
I was so worried about playing with Rob because I'd seen some of his videos, and I was like, gosh, I hope I can be all right as a player. And it was great. It was a blast playing.
Yeah, he was kind of intimidating when I first started too, because he was like gives me this whole list of things I need to do and not do, and this is for just for being on the stream. So he kind of taught me discipline in
Yeah.
regards to some of the things I did for posting, and he's still on my ass. The day he got like a week before he passed, he was harping on me about some kind of post where I didn't have the correct spelling or something like that.
That's
So
very much a Rob thing.
yeah, he was policing me all the time, even though we
Hey, what's
weren't
up,
as close.
Marbania?
And I gotta say, all the conversions that he did,
Uh-huh.
despite the complaining, he loved it when I came back and was like, "There's a misspelling on this page, on this."
Oh yeah.
It's like one letter misspelling. Oh, God, we got to republish the module right now.
Hmm.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he was on it
And
for
he would
sure.
scramble. He couldn't handle leaving that till tomorrow. Nope.
Well, he's done that crap on live streams, like in the
Hmm.
middle of something.
Yep.
Yeah, in the middle of games, I remember him pausing in the middle of the game. Hold on, let me fix that.
Yeah. And I
He
love
did
playing
it.
off of him too.
I complained that there was a encounter mixed up, right? There was supposed to be like um one flame skull and like six other things, and he had it backwards. And I'm like, and this was in one of the modules we were playing in,
I
and then he
remember
went
that.
and fixed it, and the whole module got reset and everything got screwed up because
You had to revert changes and it screwed
yeah.
everything up.
Oh
So
my
all
god.
my links and stuff I had on the maps and stuff were gone. We're almost done
I
with
can
it
see that.
anyways, so it was fine. But still, don't complain until you're done, because you'll get it fixed instantly for Rob. I mean, and he had to send it in, and even there was a talk with Zacchaeus about it or something. I was talking to him.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. They broke something and reverted the whole thing and broke everything.
Oh yeah, they definitely broke everything when they changed over to WebM.
Oh yeah, that
And
was kind of
yeah,
messy. I don't
Six
know if you
years,
guys
2 months, 8 days, Marbania. Huh.
nice.
So I don't know how long or how many years the crowd here has been actively following or watching Rob, but
Oh,
I remember him from when I first started the Face Grounds College. He was very
You mean
instrumental.
church?
Yeah, it was going to be called the D&D 5e Church because that was pretty much what we're going to do. But no, he he was there the whole time, and he talked me out of some stupid stuff, and he made it, to where, I was able to actually use his codes back then before there was really any extensions. And basically they were character sheets that you just copied the the codes from, so that you didn't even have a module really. You had a character sheet, and you would import those, and then you would drag the effects that you wanted on your character sheet. And then Rob discovered that you can actually save those as spells. So if you guys didn't know that, if you make effects, you can drag them over to the spell list there and in the data, and store them that way. So he's the one that taught me all that stuff, and he taught me about the significance of it and why people would use it. And I kind of put that into my lessons, because I spent about 2 years teaching people how to build characters. And we kind of added on the Rob thing a little bit into that. I want to say maybe a half a year into doing that, I decided to include that part of that in the curriculum, but it did make the class really long. I mean, it's like 2 hours. It's pretty ridiculous, but thinking back on it, I mean, that's way too much for an average person. But I know I did like 1,200 people at least, and they all got to see the power of Fantasy Grounds, but they also got to see Rob's work. So that's kind of what started the impetus of growing that part. This is even before he really had the publishing thing going on. And then Manicure and everyone just kind of slowly started gravitating towards that type of role in the community. So I think that without his guidance and without some of his expertise, and then he was kind of like one of the pioneers, is up there with David and a couple other people. I don't GeoQuester, I don't know if you guys remember him, but he
I
was
Hmm.
do.
he was one of the
Yep.
first streamers. And then Duff, what was that?
Raiders, yeah.
Yeah, so
Patreons or
Raiders
Duff
rejects.
over
Yeah.
there. Prater, that's the name of us.
yeah, yep,
Raiders
Prater's
Rejects,
Rejects.
yeah.
Yeah.
yep. And those guys played together with Dave and I don't know if John ever played with him, but I know Doug Davison and David played with him
Yeah.
in some of those early days, and that's when I
Back
first
when
met him.
Doug put him in the hospital.
Yeah,
Right.
that's when I first met Rob. It's around that time. So I met him on the forums, but I knew him through his codes, because that's how I
Yeah,
recognized him. That's how I knew him. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have met him till later. You know.
Rob. I got hooked up with him after I was working with you, Leyrun, at the Fantasy Grounds College, teaching classes and whatnot,
Hmm.
and I got introduced to his stream, and just saw what he was doing, and I had been playing around with making modules and stuff, and I was like, I think, from what I've seen, this is something I could do. And I reached out to him one day, and it kind of took off from there. And I did module conversions a bunch for DM's Guild, and then um, decided to try my hand at extensions. And Rob encouraged me, and so then I started doing extensions with Bob and a number of other developers, and we kind of slowly grew this group that we now collectively kind of call Team 2e. But it was just this organic thing that you just kind of encouraged each of us to go with your strengths and go with what you want to do. If you don't want to do it, um, don't do it.
Yeah.
um,
Don't
but
half-ass it, he would say.
yeah, don't half-ass it. Um, but make sure you turn in your reports at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Right.
That was very,
TPS.
very critical to turn in uh, how many dollars and how many cents you made, um, to Rob at the end of the month. For how many? It was years that he would insist on that. It was so funny.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It was
I gave him a
years he
lot of
insisted.
crap
Oh
for
yeah,
that.
And heaven
yeah.
forbid if you were a day late.
Oh
And
yeah.
the funny thing was he decided the profit split, for DM's Guild, everything like that. So his report, he knew exactly how much we would have made because he set up the split. So, you know, math, it would have been straightforward, but he needed us to calculate it all,
Yeah.
print it out, and put together spreadsheets. The
Yeah, he was serious about that too.
He was the king of spreadsheets, man.
Yes, he was.
I never, I haven't sold anything, so I wasn't on any spreadsheets except a couple of gaming ones. That's about
Dude, I think Rob gave me a spreadsheet addiction. Like now when I play like even video games I play, for example, I gotta make spreadsheets. Like there's a game that Manicure and I both play called Idle Champions. And I
Uh-huh.
have spreadsheets for like whether I have characters in that game or not, you know?
Yep.
Blame Rob.
You have a free code section where you get all those freebies.
Yeah, I don't need a spreadsheet for those though.
Well, sometimes I get them and I forget about it, and I don't have anywhere to
That's
put them.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hey
it. I
Sven,
remember the
when did you hook up with Rob there in Spokane? Like first meeting him in person.
So what had happened was I had been working with him and playing in one of his games, and I also had been doing some conversion with him. And then he did his in May of 2019. He did a big renovation of his house, and at one point he showed in one of the Sunday night streams. He showed a picture, or it was on his website, one of the two anyway, of his porch, and he had taken all the boxes for all of his computers and monitors and all that stuff, and thrown it on his porch.
I remember that.
And he said he was going to be taking a couple boxes every week and throwing it in his recycle bin until it's finally gone. And I realized, wait a minute, he's here. So I took my son had a truck, so we went and drove over there the next day and loaded up the truck and took all that crap down to the dump for him. And that's how we met. And he took me and my son out to lunch for doing it for him.
Aw.
nice.
Nice. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that now. I remember him talking about that.
I do
the
too.
first time I met him was when I picked him up in the Orlando airport for the Alpha party. He
Yeah.
was
Oh yeah.
he comes
The
walking out of
photo.
the airport. His face is like his glasses
Sweating to
fogged
death.
up. Yeah, he's like ah.
The
It
humidity
was
got him.
it was like perfect timing too. I mean when we pulled up, he walked out. I mean that's how it like it was like perfect timing. I
He's
don't even
ambushed
think we
you
had
guys.
to. Sometimes, you know how you have to go around the loop once or twice. I don't even think we
Hmm.
had to do that. I think as soon as we pulled up, he walked out.
Yeah, that airport isn't that big, but I get it. It's good timing.
Yeah, we
In
stayed at that
person, I met him
Airbnb.
in Colorado last year. Is in
Yeah.
October was the
That's
first
when I
time.
met him in person for the first time, but
Yeah.
That's cool. I
my
met.
first like interaction with Rob was always through his stream. So like back in 2017, I had a group of friends that I played MMOs with, and they had wanted to try D&D. So I looked around at like all of the options to play D&D online because they're my MMO friends. None of us lived in the same state. And we tried Roll20 and we hated it. And then I was like, we're just gonna go in on Fantasy Grounds. So me and my like group of friends, we split the cost of the Ultimate license. And at that point, I did what I always do when I get really into something is do all the research I can. And so I would watch like Fantasy Grounds Fridays with Dave, and then All Things Fantasy Grounds with Rob. And I had watched like Rob stream for I don't know, like 2 years before I ever like talked in chat, you know? Like I was just very I've always been like more on the like shy side. It takes me a long time to like open up to people or whatever. And just like chatting in Twitch back then for me was like a big deal. Um and then, fast forward like a year or two and I was doing conversions for people on DM's Guild like separate from like Rob's team 2e and whatnot. And Rob had reached out to me a couple times and was like, "Hey, you do conversions. You do you want to join the team or whatever, this, that, and the other?" And we got to talking, and he invited me on the All Things Fantasy Ground show to talk about the conversions I had already done at that point. And it was all history from then. We like literally became instantly friends. We just got along so well. Like it was like, where have you been my whole life? Like he's just, such a great person. And we just, I don't know, we just hit it off, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my first interactions on Discord with Rob were, "Hey, you won something on All Things Fantasy Grounds. What do you want?" It's like the first 2 or 3 months. That's all it was because we were. I mean, he was so generous with giving stuff away every show.
Hmm,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it was great.
I forget how
One
I
of
ended up with the his big package thing. The
The
whole
big
Rob's big package.
Rob's big package.
yeah.
I think you got that when you started DMing for us.
Christmas or
We gave it to
something.
you.
Yeah, I think
He
he
would
gave
always
it
give
to
away
me.
like 10 at Christmas time.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
I know. Go
the
ahead.
first show was February 11th, 2018, and he's
Yeah.
showing Layroon and Scuddy. I don't know who Scuddy is.
Scooty, she was a streamer from
Scooty.
Brazil.
And you guys talked about the options menu. Man, it would take you
Uh-huh.
like four session or four streams now to talk about it. So
Yeah, no
much
doubt.
crap in there.
Yeah, he's pretty meticulous about doing those streams at that time. He had a lot of requirements, but they made sense. And I think back on it, I thought this guy's kind of an asshole, but he really did meet well. He meant well because he went out of his way to make sure that stuff was right. And
Mm.
Hmm.
I mean, despite how gruff he was very generous, and I never had any problems with him per se. We've had some disagreements over the years, but not enough to where it breaks a friendship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Like
he's
normal human beings.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. First time I met him in person, I believe it was we met with John Gregory, the co-owner of Smiteworks, and Rob was just all everything kind of lined up. That was interesting because that was right before Unity was getting ready to drop. So we were able to talk to John. He didn't give us too much insider info, but we did have our questions and demands, I guess. But John already knew then what was going to happen, so he just kind of said yes or no. He didn't really elaborate on it too much, but that was really cool. And then I met him a couple other times because he'd come out to Seattle and I live in that area. So I met him. He met my family a couple times. We went out to dinner and also we met with, I can't remember her name, but she was an ex employee for Wizard of the Coast. Jessica, I can't remember her last name, but anyways, we met with her and he never came to my house, which is kind of weird, but he had a place to stay, so there wasn't any reason to. He had a friend that lived over here in Seattle. So when he would take his journeys over here for his annual checkup to check on his liver function, he would visit people here, and I was one of the individuals that got to see him. I missed him a couple times. I don't know why, but I think the most memorable one was when he came out here to be on the Wizards of the Coast. Yeah, that's right, John. He was on the Wizards of the Coast show. I mean, he bought himself a ticket and got on that show. It wasn't cheap, but he wanted to be on that show. That was one of his what do you call that? A feather in the cap or bucket
Mm.
list things?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dragon Talk, right?
Yeah, so he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Dragon Talk
Yeah, I
and
remember.
and I met with him right after the filming of that, and we went out to Panera, and it was kind of fun. He he was okay in person. He was actually pretty mellow. I mean, he wasn't as uppity or as like he didn't have a show face on. Is kind of what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
he'd joke around and stuff, but he wasn't as critical in person. But when you put on his show like Rob2e, the label or whatever, that's when he starts acting kind of strongly, and that's kind of the way he is. It was a show face.
I'm just curious, how many things has prom date said?
Yeah, exactly, Eraser. It was his brand. That's his face, his voice, the FUCKs and all that stuff.
I want to know how many nickels he owes Doug.
I
Ooh,
thought that was
that's a good
cute. Did you guys
question.
read that? What
Yeah.
Doug had wrote on there? If you guys look at the Fantasy Grounds forums and you look at the kind of like a memorial post that
Yeah.
Manicure started,
Yeah.
what Doug wrote there was very cute and sentimental, and I
Yeah.
I can't say I didn't get a little teary eyed because I do understand the humor of it too. So
Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah, Rob and I would get together with a friend that he knew longer than me, who is now my friend, for the last pretty much within a couple weeks of meeting him in live in person, and we would play games every Wednesday for about 6 hours. And we are about as polar opposite on religion and politics and personality and the way we speak, but yet we met every week. He was a good friend. Um, Spent a lot of time with him this last year, helping him out and stuff as well. But I just was really surprised, especially just looking back, how different we are, and yet how well we got along.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. He and I are very different personalities, but we got along great, both in gaming, in professionally, in working with him and everything. Um, I I never had an issue with him, and I know other people did, and we've had, people kind of came and went to his Discord when they got to a point where they just couldn't take it anymore, and they took a break from Rob. But I don't know. I had a great time working with him and knowing him for the last 4 years. I never expected, um, uh, after starting just doing these little conversions projects with him, that where it would end up, and the crazy year we had when COVID spiked. You know,
Hmm.
Rob's business just took off because everybody
Yeah.
wanted to play online, and it made such a huge impact on Rob, on his life, on everything, and in a trickle down fashion to the rest of us that were part of Team Tui. But yeah,
It was a whirlwind.
it was.
yeah,
I
and
remember having to give like 2 or 3 classes to different people every single week on how to build extensions and how to find things, and we created a dev channel, and like that was just blowing up every single day.
Yep.
It was crazy but awesome.
yeah. And one of the reasons I never joined the team for Rob2e because I kind of wanted to stay more like his friend and not so much business partner.
Mm.
And the other thing is I didn't want the tech debt because I've seen what everyone goes through. Once you build a bunch of stuff, you're kind of on for it to keep that going, and I didn't have time
like
to do
like
that.
Bob
So
and I.
yeah, you guys
Yeah.
have way too much tech debt
You
for
got
me.
50 extensions to support.
Yeah, that's enough. I mean, sure you get a little money for it, but I think after about a year that starts to level out. You know?
You could be like me, Laroon, and get on Team Tui without ever making a damn thing.
Yeah. I mean, I
And
helped
then
him get
Drake's like,
Honorary
"Oh."
member.
Then
Yeah, but
Drake's like,
Drake,
"Oh yeah, hey, somebody needs to build this."
you're
I
the
haven't
idea man.
I haven't made anything,
Y-
but there's
I
10
was too.
Yeah, but
extensions
how many
made
of our
because
extensions are
of me.
because of stuff you said
I know.
Me
in
or him?
games? Hey,
Oh
why doesn't
yeah,
it
Me.
do this?
yeah.
I'm like, can
I
somebody
hear
make
you.
it do this? They're like, yeah, give me 20 minutes. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Give me a day and I'll be back. Yeah, I did a lot of ideas in the early days too. Not so much extensions, but like one of my ideas was that, and this is still one of my favorite projects that he and I kind of worked on behind the scenes was the background class and equipment module.
Mm,
Because that was something that when we were doing character creation, that was so annoying to have to wait for everyone to drag their items onto their sheet. And I like the idea that people were getting the drag and drop, they were learning how to do that. And that was cool. But after a while, it's like, you know what? This takes way too much. I mean, we probably saved 10 or 15 minutes just by making that module. So I came up with the idea. I was going to make it myself. And I said, you know what? I know a person who can do it better. So I just told Rob about it. And he's like, and then the other favorite I don't have much credit for is the module that is the conditions and effects. I think that module was one of his earliest ones, and probably the best when it comes to overall utility because it has almost everything, not everything, but it has almost everything you would need for an NPC or for a player that doesn't have any of the coding set up. So if you got one module out of everything, that would be the one that I would get, other than the one that he and I put together. So all the other ones are useful, they're very comprehensive, but that module that has conditions and effects is the one that I think is probably one of the best ones out there. So, and
Speaking of his projects, um, Robin, you and Leroon worked with Rob to make the whole Ponovo thing, right?
Hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah,
How
so
that got rolling and all that.
so I know originally like Rob and Leroon were talking about like publishing other things and they possibly wanted to bring me on to help with like do it like PDF layout and stuff like that. And then I pitched to them that I already had like a lot of world building done on a world that I intended on releasing someday, but I just hadn't gotten there yet. So they were like, "Yeah, let's do that." Long story short. And yeah, they both, if it weren't for Leroon and Rob, Panova would never have been published because I would have just chipped away at it slowly over the years as I do. And they really both were like the driving factors for me to like actually finish and edit things and like put it in a layout and get it out. And, they've both contributed so much like, hey, let's do monsters that are like this. Let's make the cultures, this way, that way. Here's some names, here's some ideas, whatever. Um and yeah, Rob was just like, let's do this. Let's get it out there. And yeah, so we cranked down on it real hard, real fast. Sorry. And yeah, we published the PDF back in like March of this
That's what his
year.
prom date said.
I know.
As Rob
And
always says, you're using it wrong.
and of course, Rob like went straight to work on converting it for Fantasy Grounds, and between Rob and Laroon, with the contact with Doug and everybody at Smiteworks, got us a publishing account there so that we could publish it through the store instead of the Forge. Um, and yeah, that's the gist of that.
There's a request for links for the Ponovo stuff in the
Yeah.
chat. You got those handy, Robin?
Sure. I can pull them up.
So
Because there's
now
both
there's
Forge stuff
the
and
main book, and then
TTRPG.
there's the portraits, and then the
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. So I'll just sorry, I
yep.
was not prepared for
No
this.
worries.
That's okay. So while Robin's looking, most of it I'm just kind of generating artwork for her, and then I do some writing. I got ideas and stuff, and I think what her and I will continue to do that.
Yes.
Right now, I'm in vacation mode, and she's doing her thing. But I think as summer starts winding down, we'll be able to get back into it a lot more heavily. And
Quote something Rob told me many, 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 many times. Sell that shit.
exactly, sell that shit.
I don't know how
Eleven
many
ninety
times he
nine.
told me
That's
that.
what I.
Yeah.
Here's my take my 11.99. I'll just make it for me.
Yeah, I agree, Delta. We need to get back to work on it. And I am still working on art, and she's still kind of pecking away at it. So
Yeah, so we're
being worked
working
on a little bit.
on what will end up being hopefully our autumn releases this year, but with Rob's passing and I haven't worked, I'll be honest, I haven't worked in like 2, 3 weeks on it, just out of kind of like loss of motivation, I guess, if you will. Um,
Yeah, it's normal.
but at the latest, I hope to have our next like set out by Christmas. So like that's about how delayed I am right now. Anywhere between autumn and Christmas is what we're shooting um, for Panovo, and that would be like one new like region setting guide, a full length adventure, and some mini adventures. Then after that, Layroon and I are gonna pivot and do some like core books
Hmm.
style stuff, like a monster manual, new classes, spells, magic items, that type of stuff.
Yeah. So
That'll be
Rob was kind of
2025.
our fantasy grounds guy. and
Yeah.
so that's going to take a bit to replace that workload because he was pretty quick and efficient with it. I'm not saying we can't do it, but he was already set up, and that's why we had him do it essentially because he's already kind of already familiar with the process.
Link it, lock
Uh,
it, load it.
exactly. And if you guys do still have ideas for Ponovo, keep putting them in that
Yeah.
channel because
Always talk to us about Ponovo. It's not going away. I want to keep it going. It would be a disservice to Rob for me to just give up on it now.
yeah,
Um,
Absolutely.
so I really want to, keep I have no intention of not continuing publishing Ponovo stuff. So
Is
yeah,
Mark
good,
still wanting to run a game?
good question.
Because we could stream it too on Rob's stream. We could.
That's
If
true.
We could. We figured out how now.
yeah, things could happen.
Nice.
There's the
Did
there's the
I think he
player's
did.
primer.
Nothing. I think he did. I don't remember if it was Shatner, but I know he got one of them signed. I believe. Is that true,
Yeah, but did it
Sven?
ever show up
I don't
if he
know.
got
I
his
don't know.
signed Shatner photo from that set tour?
No, he
He
said
bought
something.
two of them, and he received one of them.
Okay. Yeah, Sven knows. He's talked to him all the time. You need to know. Ask Sven. Sven, I'm surprised we didn't ever met, but you don't come out this way very often, do you?
He's just avoiding you.
I cannot.
Uh,
I don't know that I've ever even been out there. When I
so
drove a truck,
West.
I drove around Seattle once. But other than that, I don't go over to Seattle at all.
Good. It's probably best you don't come here now.
I still
Not
want to
not
see the
very
Wizards of the
fun.
Coast building.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I have of interest over there.
it ain't much. It's just a big edifice with a bunch of grass around it. So not that big of a deal, but maybe inside.
While we were talking about Ponovo, I did want to also make a brief mention about the kind of the future of Team TUI. As I assume many of you who are listening know, or if you were on the channel, you may know. Prior to Rob's passing, he did speak with me and Diablo Bob separately and together on his wishes for how he wanted to handle the future of Team TUI. And so going forward, both Bob and I have structured everything to take over and provide continued support for all of the products that Rob published. So we have access to all of the Forge entries. A new account was created in SmiteWorks, transferred all of the products over to there. So if you owned them, you still own them. There's no changes there. Rob had also emailed them directly with the information, so that all went really smoothly. They were really nice to work with, and DM's Guild did the same thing. They gave me access to Rob's DM's Guild account, so we're able to continue to provide the support. We'll continue to do everything that we can to maintain what Rob did for those years, all those years, um, publishing our updates to both anywhere that he had his products pushed. We will continue to support all of that. So if you need any help or assistance on anything Rob2e, Team 2e, come to the Discord. That's the best place to reach out to us. And both Bob and I and the rest of Team 2e on there will continue to support everything we can.
hell
And
yeah.
Gorvidal wants to know about the Patreon.
That's a very good question and one we haven't looked at yet. Bob and I will reach out to Jeff to see if we can get access to that. It'll probably wrap up, um, and whatever funds are left would go to his estate. So I'm not 100% sure, but Bob and I will look into that.
Okay.
That was a very good point. The other one is like the Twitch, whatever revenues come through Twitch. We got to figure that out because I'm not sure. I don't do streaming on Twitch, so we're still figuring all that sort of stuff out.
So Sven, I'm really happy you got the cats. How's that working out for you Are they adapting well or?
They are. It took about 2 days, and then they're behaving like they did when they were living with him. So, as far
Oh,
as my
you got
family,
the
really,
cats? Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
I have 3 females here who love cats. So
perfect.
Your dog
I
didn't
am
chase
very
him around?
ambivalent. I don't care. I'm not hurt. I mean, I don't. I'm not antagonistic against them. I just don't care. So
Right.
I ignore them. They ignore me. But they have lots of love from the 3 of them.
Good.
Excellent.
So,
I feel happy
uh,
because that was the main thing I was worried about. I mean, after he passed away, I was like, dang.
oh
You
yeah,
That
were
was
telling
yeah, they're
one
me.
of
doing
the
well.
first things I
Um,
asked Jeff when we
yep,
called him.
Yeah.
yep, yeah. I do have a little min pin, but he's old and he's lived with cats his whole life, so he's like me. He just doesn't care. He looks at them and they were freaking out for about a day, and then they realized he's not going to do anything. So they're getting along just fine. They just ignore each other now. So
That's
Nice.
good.
it's working out really well.
All
Don't
right.
forget that every once in a while, send a picture to Auntie Robin.
Yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
And
glad they're
that
with you. I'll
picture you
probably
posted,
cry talking about it, but right before Rob passed away, I tried so hard to fly out there to
Mhm.
get the cats, because him and I talked about it all the time that I was gonna go get the cats. So I was, I still am so broken up about it that I couldn't make it out there to get them. So thank you, Sven. I really do appreciate that.
absolutely. Like I said, don't beat yourself up. I understand stuff happens, and like I said, they're really happy, and my family's also really happy.
Plus, you got a robot, didn't you? The robot litter thing.
Yes, the self-cleaning litter thing. Yep. So once Drake puts these last 3 pictures in the
They're they're in.
slideshow, the one with the 2 cars is actually a funny little story I heard about. He was at the dealership and he called his friend Jeff, who's taking care of everything, and sent him that picture and said which one. And so because of Jeff, he got the one on the right. So that's just a
Cool.
funny little story. That's why he's there with 2 cars. He didn't buy 2 cars. He was asking which one.
Oh, I thought that was his trade-in and his new one. I thought.
No, he traded in his mom's car.
Oh,
Hydrate.
it's none of his alerts or anything are
Yeah,
working,
if you got points, you can
but I
spend them
need
all
some
if you want.
water. I need
Spin
some
them all.
water.
We were talking earlier before the stream about potentially using this channel to do events occasionally. So you guys,
Mhm.
what do you guys feel? I mean, anyone watching, how do you feel about that? Uh, Once in a while, using his stream key for certain things.
And there may be it may be something that we convert, and this is just kind of off the top of my head, but the title to Team 2e, and then do promotions, events, whatever, um, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing because I think I was talking to, yeah, Simbarchi, exactly. I was talking to Drake about that. He and I had a good hour talk, and we were talking about maybe not doing all things fantasy grounds because that's not really him there. It does not really Rob without, that show is kind of, even though I helped him co-found it, it isn't that same show without him. So we're thinking about maybe doing a product showcase, and that wouldn't be weekly though, maybe once a month, because not, there's some months where there's nothing being made or not finished or whatever. So I mean, that could be something. Go read all that might work too. Having a holiday thing. Giveaways, I don't have any say in that. That would be up to John and Bob, but because they would have the ability to gift things. But
Once we
speaking of
figure
that,
all that out, we will figure that out.
is there any giveaways tonight?
Well,
Yeah.
it was brought up to me just like an hour and a half before this, saying you should do a giveaway, and I was like, that's a great idea. I have no idea how Rob did it. So if and when we figure that out, it'll probably be through the Discord channel rather than through Twitch. But we do want to continue the spirit of giving away and charity. We are going to do the 4th of July sale that Rob announced. So we're going to, if I can figure out how to do that on the Forge, it looks pretty simple, other than the fact that I have to do it one item at a time.
For like
Yeah,
over 100 items.
and there's 100, or so items that Rob has published. So that's 100 times I got to go through setting up the sale. But I will get that done for everything on the Forge that Rob wanted to put on sale. We'll figure out.
The DM's Guild bundle's easy.
Yeah, we'll get that figured out over the next day or two. But we do want to do the giveaways and stuff as Rob
Okay.
always did.
I mean, I know there's been a lot of things that have gone on over the years between Rob and different community members, but I do want to mention that he did help a lot of people in the beginning. Like he gave everyone basically that I know of a copy of the coding effects, and a lot of us started because of that. Like if it hadn't been for that, a lot of the people that are publishing or making extensions or anything like that had started just because of that type of thing. I'm not saying it's only Rob's doing, but it had a lot to do with it. And
Oh, he
so,
absolutely influenced me and many
hmm
of the people that I know and play with.
yep,
Yeah, we all got started through him just giving his stuff away. Just yeah, it was 1, 2, 3 every stream. He'd be giving stuff away and talking about it.
yep.
And he'd complain if you decided to give away to some other people. Like if you dropped
Oh
in on
yeah.
somebody's stream and you're like, hey,
To
I need
gift
you to
it.
give everything that I make to this guy. He's like, dang it.
No, yeah, no effing regifting. He used to tell me that. If you regift, forget it. It's just not happening. Yeah, he
I,
didn't like complications for sure.
Yeah.
I remember the first stream that I actually dropped in on was my first contact with him was an All Things Fantasy Grounds about how to build a druid and
Yep.
Oh
how
yeah.
to DM it. It was October 2018. And I was like, hey, isn't there like an extension out there? And he was like, no, that's a good idea though. Somebody get on it.
Yeah, the other thing I noticed, Bob, you and I kind of share this. I don't know about the rest of you, but we used to get under his skin pretty well in regards to
Yep,
uh, saying stuff in the stream. So I remember
etc.
early on. Yeah, so we used to like be like the voice of reason or the devil's advocate, I guess. And that used to piss him off. He'd say, "Don't." I remember that one time. I think he was serious. I don't remember, but he I don't remember the episode, but it was definitely in the early days of All Things Fantasy Grounds. He's like, "Don't ever fucking ambush me again in the stream without talking to me about
I
it." And I was like,
remember that.
"Damn." I was like, "Damn." And I know Bob, you went through that too a little bit.
Yep. I think I actually contacted you and was like, should I be worried about this?
Yeah, I don't think so. I was like, "Yeah, he'll get over it." Yeah, etc. Yeah, he hated that. There was some little quirks that he had. Like, what was the other one? Like, there were some other words, Eraser,
There
that was
was
like that.
yeah, it was etc. There was
It was every
Anyways,
word.
shit.
Supposedly, he
yeah.
Yep.
mentioned that
He
one
was
more than once.
he used to yell at me all
Supposedly.
the time for saying anyways with an S at
GIF.
the
Oh
end.
yeah, that's right.
Don't
Oh
forget
yeah,
GIF,
GIF.
Oh,
GIF
yeah,
and
GIF,
GIF,
GIF.
yeah.
JFEG.
No spoilers.
The GIF.
Oh
I
my
start.
gosh,
I
yes, he
switched.
used to get so mad about spoilers
I
Oh
for
yeah.
like
switched peanut
TV shows and
butters.
movies.
I switched peanut butters just because of Rob.
Yeah.
I went to GIF.
Oh, I did a big party foul. You guys, I don't remember. Maybe it was the first Denver and Dragons. One of the first time you guys did the stream at a location. I don't think it might have been Whistler. I don't remember, but it was the Seahawks playoffs, and I said something on the stream about that. He was pissed. He was like,
Yep.
"Don't talk
Yeah.
about that." You know?
Sports ball.
I remember he had something recorded during one of the Sunday All Things Fantasy Grounds. Like he had it recording because it was on at the same time,
Uh-huh.
and somebody mentioned it as he was signing out of the stream. It's like, hey, did you see this part of the show? And he just kind of blew up, and he's like, dang it, I'm just about to watch it.
Yeah, he didn't like that too much. And if he published instructions of any sort and you didn't read those, oh boy, you you
You know,
Mhm.
you,
his
you essentially,
TFM.
rules that he
Yep.
had posted in Discord migrated to mine. I mean, I just changed some couple things, but they all
yeah,
make sense, right? And they're clear, right? We're
uh-huh.
not we're not using any house rules except for or whatever the case is.
So everybody has to tolerate Drake. Yes, that's a rule.
All you
Yeah.
got to do is just remember that I'm not going to remember the rule, and then we'll be fine.
Did you guys happen to notice he usually played a spellcaster of some sort?
Hmm.
Usually wizards.
Did you
Hmm.
ever
Yes, but I
notice
believe,
that when he did role play, it was rare?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
that's true. But I believe that his character that his purple icon is on was actually a warrior
Yeah.
or a fighter.
I wouldn't doubt if it's a paladin. Still got magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he
And
got
he,
Probably
he never
smite,
remembered which
smite,
character he was playing
smite.
at the start of every game.
He always
Right.
used his
Who
Shit.
am I playing again?
his
Wait,
Twitch avatar was like always his token in Fantasy
Yep.
Grounds too for the
Yeah.
longest time.
I tried to redo his thing just to give it a fresh look. He liked it, but he only used it once, I think, and that was just for funsies. It didn't really matter. But I know that I gave it to Drake. I made it with AI or something like that, and he tried it out. I don't know if he liked it, but he did. He kind of liked it. Made like a different rendition of him with his face, and he looked like a kind of like a dark, what is it, Sith Lord kind of look to him.
yeah, I remember a
Nice.
couple of those that you did for the AI ones. They were pretty cool.
Yeah. So I made like an AI character, and then I put his face on it, kind of warped it in there.
Yeah, he did like those new ones. That purple one, he never really liked it at all. But it the reason he kept it around for so long is because it became his brand, and so he felt like he couldn't change it because it was attached to too many things that he had done. But he
It
never
makes
really liked that
sense.
purple ones.
It makes sense, but you don't see McDonald's changing it very much. It's just the way it is.
I mean, he did
Yeah, I
love
kind
his
of.
purple covers on all of his products. They were
Hmm.
iconic. It set a brand for him.
Yeah.
Everyone else is doing these fancy covers, and all of Rob's were just single color. But
Yeah.
Yep, I still remember the first time that I sent him Critically Awesome Essentials. He made me go through. It took like 2.5 weeks. I knew nothing about how to build modules. I was just like, I built an extension. He's like, you gotta sell it. And then got everything done, got the modules on. He's like, okay, so what color do you want the post to be? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, mine's all purple, so you can't choose purple. And I'm like, how about blaze orange? And he's like, okay, that'll work. Hence the blaze orange for all of Diablo Bob stuff.
Yep. And every
Yep.
person who came after had to pick a new color.
Yep,
Oh
everybody
yeah.
gets a color.
And I remember when
There's.
I came on board, I was like, I want pink. And he said, well, somebody already is pink. I think Kent stuff, maybe like a different shade of pink. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
and such
And so I had to
extensively.
pick like just a nice different shade of pink. So I think Kent's are like light pink and mine are hot pink.
That's funny.
Is it Kent's that are pink? Now I gotta look it
No,
up.
those are teal.
Oh,
Kents are
teal.
teal.
Who else has the light pink?
I
Somebody has
think it
light
was
pink.
one person, like one
Right.
module that was
One
one color.
product.
They
Yeah.
stole
Was that
pink
the
from me.
fast dice guy?
I don't
I don't
remember.
know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm
Well,
looking on DM skills.
I told him I wanted baby shit brown, but he said, well, and I said, well, how about like beige? And that's the color I was going to use if I was
I
going to
got
publish under.
I got
Could have had your
clear. It
icon
was
be a
nice.
baby shit.
I just got
Oh no,
clear.
mine are light pink. Somebody, wait, am I misremembering?
It's okay,
There
Rob.
was somebody else that had like a fuchsia.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the I don't know.
I think that's the only time that Rob and I wouldn't say had a disagreement, but he'd get a little angry with me because I would put out a lot of conversions for free. and he would always
Yes.
want me to
Oh
sell
yeah.
it. He'd like, sell that shit. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that was actually a big argument that me and him had early on. When DM tools came out, and he's like, "Well, how much do you want this, to sell this for?" And he was like, "$20. It should be $20 because it had like the spell tokens and all this other
Yep.
stuff." And he was like, "So, you need to sell it for 20 bucks." I'm like, "No, I want to sell it for 10." And he's like, "Well, why?" And I'm like, "Well, because I want to make it affordable for everybody." He's like, "But you make all the," because at that point I think it was like my fourth fourth or fifth release, and he was all angry because I wasn't increasing the prices of my stuff. Like it add features and stuff, and he was like, "No, you need to like make another expansion, or you need to increase the
Yeah.
price." And I refused, and he basically argued with me, and I was like, "Well, with Critically Awesome Essentials, I was already able to purchase all the materials to continue gaming. It was a self affording hobby at that point."
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Well, okay, I guess we'll just do it your way." And then DM Tools absolutely blew up, and he's like, "Well, you know what? I think that was a good choice." Like afterwards, but beforehand, it was like 2 or 3 days. Like he was just constantly trying to make me sell it for more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that still? Did that get migrated over finally? I don't remember. I think
Yeah.
recently.
I
On the
believe it did get like
Forge?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
But
thought so. I
DM's
think I
still.
have it.
Yeah, I think all of Bob's stuffs are over there.
That's good. I know
yeah,
they
because
kept it over there for the longest time. They would not let you move that over.
no, they
Yeah.
did not want to let me move Critically Awesome Essentials, and they did not want to let me move DM Tools because those were my two hugest things. And I got all kinds of crap from him because those two outsold his conditions and effects for like a year. I had the most sales, and he was like, "Yeah, but there's also this other module." Then, he always had a reason why conditions and effects was better, and it was just like, "Okay, Rob."
Total sales over the last 4 years was higher on mine than yours. That's only been out for
6
six
months.
months.
Yeah, when I first started using Fantasy Ground, somebody's like, "I want to play a druid." I'm like, "Get off my table!" And then Bob made
Yeah,
his extension. I'm like, "Okay, you can play. I want to see it now." And
Yeah,
then
it's
I just
easy
got
now.
Bob to play the druids, and now it's like I don't even have to worry about it.
Well, Bobby, Bob, or however you can we call you Bobby or no?
Bob, Bobby, Bobby Joe, whatever you
Okay.
guys want.
All right. Anyways, if you do ever decide to update that again, reach out to me and let me know because I'll help you um, make the write up part of it. You know, the instructions.
That would
And
be
now
awesome
and
because
now that
that
the
was something that
tokens
I
can be
told
shared,
Rob for.
we can start
Uh
getting
Yeah,
huh.
into the wild
you can share
shapes.
assets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the last conversations I had with Rob before he got too sick was basically to support you guys and to make sure that you guys are getting your stuff advertised and stuff. So if you guys need something pushed out, let me know. I don't have a huge following, but it's decent. I mean, I got a pretty good, social media thing going on. So if you guys really want something, just let me know. I
I
can
have
look
like
into.
6 things in the works that eventually, when life gives me time, Drake and I think Drake and Robin are kind of testing a half extension that I've already.
I haven't had
Okay,
any issues with that, Bob, by the
Yeah.
way. It
Sweet.
just
Works
works,
perfect for
right?
me.
cool.
Yeah. So what I'm talking about is half of the extension. I already have completed those functions, and I gave it to Drake and Robin. And what it is when you mouse over the add battle on the encounter, it
Uh-huh.
adds a layer, makes it GM only, so that way only the GM can see it, and then adds the token stamp so you can see where the things are going to be placed.
Cool.
It
That'll be
gives you a
useful.
preview of where your
Yeah,
tokens are placed in the encounter. Like if you buy
It's
a
pretty
Wizards of the
awesome.
Coast, and you just hover over and it shows you where they're at. You don't have to guess anymore. Like where did the guy who did the conversion put these guys? You
and
just hover over and there they are. Nice.
the part that I'm fixing, or not fixing, but adding to it and finishing up is the proximity trigger. So that way, if you want, you can set an option to auto trigger, and either it'll bring up the encounter or it'll auto add the encounter to the combat tracker when they get like within Like if you set it for 30 feet, whenever a character token gets within 30 feet of that encounter, it auto triggers it. Then once that's
Nice.
done, we'll be releasing that under the Team 2e.
That'll
What
be
will
cool.
it
Oh
be
yeah, I'm doing a
called when
sound
you
trigger
release
when
it?
that happens too.
That one is going to be called Tremors. It's the first one, and so all of my extensions were always 3 words, so that way I could always abbreviate it, except for DM tools. um, but all the primary extensions were all like I had BMW for better module windows. I had CAE and Rob. I think Previewer was the first one that Rob's like, you need to stop with these 3-word acronyms.
Well, I like DMT, DM tools. That's similar.
Yeah. Well, yeah, DM tools is that.
You
Previewer, I
don't
think, was the
like
yeah.
Hey,
acronyms.
Delta's Ghost, that's Rob's prom date in that picture.
Oh, it was his prom date. That is.
It reminds me of like when we were before we had released Ponovo's player's primer, which is 3Ps. And then we were deciding on like what we were gonna call the production company. We had thrown out some other names, and then we just ended up with Ponovo Publishing. So it's PP, and then our first product was PPP. So on Fantasy Grounds store, they use like codes for every product. So it's literally like 5 Ps in a row, like
Yeah, that is
publisher PP
hilarious.
and then PPP.
Beep, beep, beep,
Oh my
beep, beep.
gosh.
Inside joke. Yeah, it was kind
Inside
of funny.
joke. All the P's.
I see that, and I use the affiliate link system, so whenever I see that, I kind of snicker
Yeah.
because
P
it's in
P
the
P P P P.
yeah,
It makes me laugh every time I see it.
yeah, and it's kind of the things that trigger my memories of Rob. Like even
Mhm.
though he's only been gone for a week or whatever, but it's little things like
Almost
that.
2.
That
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's little things like that that make me remember him, not just because I'm using his effects coding and stuff, but also like just little things like that just kind of reminds me of him.
Yeah, for sure.
We're reading chat. Keeping on. You guys are yakking out there.
Sorry, I'm not on the chat. I'm actually on my phone. So if anything comes in for me, like, or just
Oh
let me
well,
know.
we'll word it out for you.
Yeah.
Alright.
And if anyone in chat wants to share your memories of Rob, please feel free.
Okay.
We're just kind of
Yeah, I
taking
mean
it as it
that's a
comes.
good
Doesn't
point.
Rob
Like I
have a web
purchased.
page?
Yeah.
A web page? I don't remember.
If I remember correctly, it just dawned on me. I think he actually has a web page.
It's not develop. I think he started working on it, and
And
then
it
he's
Yeah, he
been
got
doesn't it
rid
promoted
just
a
of it.
web
point to his
developer.
Discord and say
Yeah.
go here
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and his Twitch and stuff?
as hooker date.
Yeah, Marbania, I got that too, and I did not send that forward to anyone. I thought that was a little personal. I didn't want to go there, but yeah, he sent me those too.
Yeah, like I
Great date, but
purchased a lot of Rob's stuff. I don't know, 4 years ago or whatever, and I haven't had to buy it again. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to update it on DM's Guild, do you just go there, go to your library, and update?
Yeah.
So much work that they have to keep both updated, but you bought it,
It's
you get the
yeah,
support.
That
it's a
actually
little
nothing
extra
reminds
work,
shows.
me.
but
That reminds me of the ongoing joke of it's not a drawing unless Diablo Bob joins.
Yes.
Because he was like, if you just ask me for anything, I'll just give it to you. And I was just like, no, I'm gonna win it. So typically my average was about like every 18 months I'd win like a module. But therefore I think it was like 2 or 3 years I was on for almost every All Things Fantasy Grounds, and I would enter every drawing, and it just kind of became like this meme between him, Wyvern, and Period, where it's like I'd enter it and he'd be like, oh, there's Bob.
Yeah, I'd almost predict it. Like, oh, it's probably going to be Bob, and it was half the time.
Who do you think wins the most frequently in Rob's giveaways?
It
I don't
used
know
to
if Rob
be,
kept track of that.
He's got his spreadsheet right there.
Does he have a spreadsheet with who won all the time? Yeah, he does. He would put it in the spreadsheet.
Yep, it's
I
on.
feel like recently it was always
yeah.
like Simbarchi, maybe. I feel like Simbarchi won a lot.
No, he didn't. He didn't have who won on the
R
spreadsheet, did he?
RH. Well, he would type it in. I think he would have cleared out after they redeemed it, but I
Yeah, I
remember
think
he would
sometimes they
always
would write
type
their
it in.
names down
I
so
think
that he doesn't
RH
forget.
Hammer for I
Oh
think like 6
yeah,
months
Yeah.
won like
R
almost every
Hammer.
drawing.
Yeah,
He had the almost amazing luck.
yeah, that
And then me and
that
Bane would
tracks.
always like try to convince each other like you can do it, you're gonna win this time, and then the drawing would come and it was always
Yeah,
fun.
I don't see where he
That's
put it on the spreadsheet, but
Yeah, I think he would clear it out after they redeemed their reward.
Right. Keep it just long enough for them to get it.
I'm hooking up a date with Delta Ghost here during the stream.
aw,
Yeah, he's gonna be around the area, so I said, I might as well meet him. Yeah, so I'll be back from vacation, and then we'll just do like a barbecue, and and we'll talk about Rob. We'll probably have Sam and Delta's Ghosts. I don't know if that's on the menu in the South, but we'll definitely have other stuff. Okay, I
To
gotta.
be honest, I was really, really hoping that someday I would get the chance to join all of you in one of the Denver and Dragons gatherings,
yeah.
and that unfortunately never happened. I was actually planning on the end of this summer going and surprising Rob and Sven and saying, "Hey, I'm here." Um, and then all of this happened, and I kind of went down the drains because I think out of all of you, I'm the only one that has never actually stood in the same room as him.
Okay.
I'm
I almost went to Whistler, but I couldn't get my passport renewed in
I'm
time.
gonna say that
Oh yeah,
we're gonna do some more of that shit. That was fun. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope I
absolutely.
hope so. I
I
think we
hope
I've
should.
so
done something
too.
like that on like 6 different occasions with my local friends. We go up to Orlando and rent a big Airbnb and just spend the whole weekend there. So it's so fun.
Orlando's
I
easy to
had a
get
lot
to.
of fun.
Yeah, especially it's
Yeah.
only 2 hours for me just to scooch up to Orlando. And there's a whole development up there. 98% of the homes in it are Airbnbs. We all wonder why rent's so screwed up.
No kidding.
Right? Everybody's Airbnb and no one's doing traditional renting, so that's why
Yeah.
rent's so jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Canada's passed
Chat's
some
calling
kind
it
of
RobCon. We should call it RobCon.
Robbie con.
RobCon. Love that.
TUI-con. That's
TUI-Con.
TUI-con or something might be.
Yep.
I want to put like a spell or something in the next Ponovo book named after Rob.
I put a picture in that. I don't know if I gave it to you, Robin, the one where I made that necromancy spell for Rob.
Yeah, I remember.
I took a picture of Rob of him holding a picture, but I swapped out the photo so it looked like Rob at age like 90. And then the picture was of him holding a picture of himself at his younger age. So I kind of like merged those photos together, and then I put something like necromancy. It's not for everybody, and it kind of was implying that if you cast too many necromancy spells, you kind of start aging. I was just getting on him about his age, basically. It's kind of an inside joke, but and you'd always say, you, God damn it, I'm only like 5 years older than you." He's actually a little older than that, but still.
I was thinking something that would organize like TUI's spreadsheet spell or something, right? And it would just organize everything.
Oh
Like
no,
all
that would be
your
an effects.
it would like alphabetize all of your spell components
No, that's
or
on them. That's the
your
extension. That's
in your
not a.
back
Tui's attempted table flip.
in
Yeah,
your
that's
in
an
your
That's a good
extension.
one.
No, we're just talking about
That's
the
an
spell.
extension.
Yeah, the spell. Tui's attempted table flip.
Wait, who's
Yes.
doing that indicators thing? The one that shows the graphic? Who's
Write these
doing that?
down.
Manicure indicators is Manicure.
Manicure. There you go, man.
Who
Find
that? I
like
don't know him.
find a use case for that, a trigger, and then have it do the table flip. Like when you roll a 1, it gives you a table flip or something.
Flips
Kevin's
the map
corrupt
upside down,
crossbow.
screws up the line of sight of everything.
I'm curious
Kevin,
how many times Rob explained the fuck Kevin story.
oh jeez.
Oh man, so many times.
And then later he comes clean and says, "Well, his name really wasn't Kevin."
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like,
he
"What?"
just
This whole time.
misremembered,
it was just better.
Yeah. So
but
he kind
it's
of left it that
forever
way.
Kevin.
And Bob,
Yeah.
how many times did he tell you were using it wrong? Oh, that
Yeah.
was the
Oh
problem.
God, that's countless.
Rob,
Every
we got to
stream,
the point
multiple
where we
times.
started using it wrong on purpose. So he
Every
would say,
stream, it became a tradition. Every stream, I had to make him say, "You're using that wrong," at least once.
Yeah, Rob was good at that. He'd always say, "You're doing it wrong." He was good at that.
You got to play the chips sound. He loved that so much.
The crunching chips.
He started almost yelling the one stream because I had that on one of the soundboards when I first started doing the soundboards, and he's like, "Who keeps doing that?"
even on his sounds, there's only I think one that has his voice. This one,
Just the tip.
I think that the only one that he's got his voice on.
Uh,
I think so.
Yeah.
on the "Fuck My T-Rex" or "Fuck My T-Rex Dick" or something like that, you can actually hear him laugh at the very end of it.
This one,
Fuck my big T-Rex
no,
dick. No, 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 no. Let's
nah.
not play that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I do like the "fuck yeah" Robin one. That's cool.
No, 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 no. We don't need to do any of the Robin
Fuck
sound
yeah.
effects. This is a Rob2e show.
Well, it's
Yeah,
not a
bash him.
2E show without FU.
I can just
Oh.
do them live. Yeah, bash them.
Yeah, bash him.
That's right.
It's funny we were playing and she said something. We thought somebody played the sound
The clip.
by
Oh,
it.
Jesus.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what? What just happened?
I was gonna have I was gonna spawn a soundboard for him just to annoy him too. I had one with kids and people yelling in the background, but I never got around to it because I know he makes a big deal about that, about push to talk.
Yes.
So this would get
Absolutely.
past push to talk.
We need, Bob, we need you to go through and get some sound bites of Rob. That would be awesome to add to our
I can do
repertoire.
Yeah,
that.
there you go,
Yes.
Nafel. Just for you, I'll play this.
Ronnie,
for you.
Robbie.
I'll make a new
Yeah,
song
Mike.
too. I can help you produce those too, Bob. If you get them chopped up, I'll put them into a song even.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But I'll just,
remember when you did the stream and you were doing the Fuck Kevin 2.0 remix,
yeah.
and he was all excited about that.
Yeah, I was trying it out, but I just sometimes when you work on music, you just don't have the passion and it just sucks. It's just like anything.
Mhm.
And Rob
I
was
feel that.
passionate. When you don't have that spark, it's just really hard to create. And Rob kind of pushed through that, even like when he was doing those effects code things and making all those, it was tough. I know he was up for hours doing those, and I would occasionally PM him and I'd say, "Dude, you got to take a break," and he'd say, "Yeah, I'm gonna go and do this and that," and then I talked him into doing those the effects coding for the items because he already had a couple of them, and I'm like, "Rob, you might as well do the rest. It's going to be a big seller." I kept kind of badgering him about it because I knew it would be good, overall. He's like, "Ah, fuck yeah, I'll do it." And he just, it took him like a week to go for it, but he did, and obviously, he finished that project, but you know, you didn't take much to convince him to make money. So he was definitely all about that. So anything to do with money, revenue coming in, he was on that. And I don't fault him for that. That's a big thing. And I know a lot of us just give stuff out such, but I know mentioned earlier that he didn't like that too much. He wanted you to monetize everything you could.
Yeah, we had that discussion on a number of my little extensions, the really little ones that weren't anything, and I'm like, yeah, it's 20 lines of code. It's barely there, $1, but put it out for $1.
Yep.
Marbania's heading out. Thank you, Marbania.
Good night,
Thank you,
Marbella.
Yeah, Marby, thanks, man.
Good night,
See you around.
Marbania.
Question about sound. No, I don't think that's a thing. Kilishandra. Does it let you export custom sounds and music? Not Fantasy Grounds. You'd have to use another app. Or you can upload it to Sirenscape if you know how to do that.
Yeah, I
You
did a
make
whole bunch of them one time. I recommend if you're going to get into the Sirenscape that you get all like 20 of your sounds just ready to go and just do it all at the same time. Because
yeah,
if you
it's
do
a
it
I think
two,
the
3 times, then you
custom
have to learn it 2, 3 times every time. It seems
I think
like.
the custom ones, Celestian did one that you could play them off of your hard drive.
right.
Oh
And
yeah,
that was shortly after Matakuri made the sounds extension.
Well, the Fantasy Grounds allows you to do that built in now.
Right.
Yeah.
But does yours, John? Does yours still trigger the old sound player one?
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. So I thought that your content would be irrelevant or lose its. Sure, it's probably not as popular, but it's another solution that's not out there. So
Mhm.
I don't see what the. I mean, you might have lost a little bit there, but it's still the overall that sound thing is still kind of niche. It's not something that your average person would want to do, not right away, anyways. And if they do it, it's a real pain in the butt to set up. So having
And with
that ability
and
was
with
great.
Matakuri you can build custom soundboards.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, they are. I think they're better only just in the fact that it kind of works the older way of how to do that, and I'm more familiar with that than I am with the newer setup. And
yeah. I'm using both of them too, and it's convenient to have the module, the sound modules that they did. I'm using
yeah.
Chris Estrad, for example, to
Hmm.
find some of the story stuff. But if you're doing DM prep and you're trying to put sounds to your encounters or whatever, it's just faster to search Matakuri stuff. Just search it,
Yeah.
what you're looking for.
Indeed. I quit using it just because it just added another layer of BS to my prep. It's just like you get to the point where you're doing that more than actually playing, and I just got tired of that type of thing. And including sometimes I don't even use extensions because of that. And it depends on what they do too and what they are. But you can't live without that druid thing. Without that, I don't think I'd allow druids.
It does more than just druids. I keep telling everybody.
I know, I
Mm-hmm.
know that, but
It allows you to
Polymorph, all
roll.
that.
I think the most common use that I've seen on any streamer that uses it is the roll individual initiative.
oh yeah, that's a nice feature.
What, re-roll every round thing, or what
No,
are you
if you
talking
like
about?
Oh,
add an
like right
NPC
click
or
one
something, you just
NPC.
right click and roll initiative.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's helpful.
That's an extension,
It's in
It's
CAE.
part of CAE.
right?
Yeah.
Some of this stuff
Pretty
gets
much
so ingrained that,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
the
You mean
pickup
that
groups
wasn't
is
part
what.
of the
like,
base?
I
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
switched.
When I open up an
What?
empty campaign and I'm like, why can't I do this thing? Like, because it came from an extension.
yep.
Whoops.
So
Yeah.
like the individual rest, that was added because of the pickup groups.
Ah, I see.
Because
delete
otherwise you
from
had to go.
delete from
Sorry.
the map. You could right click and just delete the token from the map, and it takes it out of the combat tracker. That's one of my favorite ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does the CAE have a feature list somewhere? I don't remember. It's been a while since I
It's
looked
on the
at it.
It's in DM
page.
tools.
20 pages long. I mean, what do you got?
In DM tools, the most updated module, I believe, has the ref manual that had all of the current features built in.
Okay. I'm just wondering if it's listed anywhere in the product description outside of Fantasy Grounds.
Unfortunately, no, that was planned.
Okay.
Just we never got
All right.
there.
So that's the type of thing I want to help you with, I guess.
That would be
My
appreciated.
problem,
Yep.
Simbarchi, is I get like a campaign going, and then 17 more extensions come out, so my extension state changes all the time. So
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really talked to anyone about this, but looking at how much content Rob and you guys have, it's really daunting. It's just like with Fantasy Ground stuff. The information is kind of scattered. It's everywhere. I mean, and it's not just extensions. I mean, this goes into almost everything to do with the hobby. So my goal or my ambition is to collect a lot of that stuff and put it somewhere so that almost like a separate Atlassian guide, but it is for like a database. I think John kind of started doing that. Are you still maintaining that documentation website,
I have
Manicure?
a documentation website for all of my extensions.
Okay. So
Yeah.
something like that is kind of what I was looking at.
I would
And
love to
then,
see a list of modules by level.
Mm. You
yeah,
know,
I
while we're on the topic of this, something I wanted to do, and I talked to Rob about this a long time ago, was so I use a personal module in my games that has everything that's on the wiki for
hmm
in-game combat tracker coding effects, but I've also added in to like that wiki information in my module in Fantasy Grounds.
yep,
Things for like Kent's effects coded modules, like he has some that add new effects codes, et
hmm
cetera, et cetera. So I have like my own wiki inside of Fantasy Grounds, essentially just for combat tracker effect codes that you can use.
Hmm.
so that would
What I
actually be
would
more
love to
useful.
do is make one that just encompasses everything Team 2A, and like it's just a reference module that people can load in their games. And Rob and I had talked about this, but basically I would need, like, for example, Kent's permission to put that code information into the reference
Right,
module. And then
right.
we wouldn't sell it, it would just be for free, just like a little reference module. It
hmm
won't come with any of the extensions. You would have to own the extensions to use these codes or whatever. But yeah, so I'll have to get with Team 2E members and anybody who has extensions that add coding effects to Fantasy Grounds. Maybe we can get together and put together some documentation all in one, like a little reference module.
Definitely.
Like
That sounds good.
the effects, the additional effects that nobody uses for CAE, like the disguise and all that stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
would
exactly.
be very useful because it has the ability to handle disguise and a bunch of other stuff, but
hmm
nobody uses it because it was never well documented.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think that we miss out on some really good functionality across the board. And I've asked Smiteworks to do the same thing with their wiki. I said, why are you maintaining a website? Let's put it into Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah, put it in Fantasy
And they were
Grounds.
like, well, there's reasons for it. I think it's overhead at one time. And I'm thinking that's a bunch of text. I don't know if that would be, you know, hard to do or
I
not as
mean, I
easy.
made a little personal one. It wasn't that bad.
Well, it may be
I'll put some
maintenance.
screenshots in the Discord to show you guys what I'm talking about.
It could be a maintenance thing, like maybe it's not
Hmm,
easy to
that
update
makes sense.
that as opposed to a website. Because then you have to let other people in on the program. But having
yeah,
that wiki guide inside of Fantasy Grounds would be phenomenal for me, anyways.
That actually brings up a interesting thing that I just want to mention. Another effect that he had on the community is a lot of the extensions that were built in Team 2 and other ones were inspired by Rob. Like he inspired so much in the community. Like author was because he was complaining one day to on one of the streams and Celestian built author for him.
That's awesome.
That's
And
cool, Mike.
you know,
Thank
a
I
you,
lot
Ian.
of
was looking at
a,
Fantasy Grounds yesterday. Did I interrupt you, Bob? Finish up. Sorry.
I was just gonna say a lot of the Team 2E extensions were because like he was playing in a game or he was DMing a game and people would ask questions on like all things fantasy grounds or during the game or something and he would be like, yeah, it would be really cool if you could do, it was simpler to like, I believe this thing was like hex or something where you'd have to like shift drag or something and you'd have to put an effect on you and effect on them and then somebody made an extension just to handle it.
Right.
And it was he inspired a lot of stuff that just you don't really think about until after the fact, where it's just like he had the Team 2E empire, as he called it. He loved to call it an empire.
Of course, it
Um,
was the Vader or Rob2e.
yeah, and then it was just like he inspired so much, and then when COVID happened, as John said, sorry, Medicare, um, you know, me and John both were teaching people how to build extensions, and it just so many things came out that he inspired and changed the entire community as a whole.
Right.
It wasn't just, he made some coding effects. Like, he straight out inspired all of these, like most of these changes.
Yeah, even some of the other stuff, um, outside of Team 2e, there's just been a huge influx of this type of content that's been built around some of these earlier principles and these earlier works. Who made the, what do you call it, the table import tool? Was that Celestian, maybe?
Which table import? The
The
CSV
CSV
table import?
or
That was
one?
me.
No, maybe it was that, or it was one of the earlier ones. But they were basically were sad or tired to see Rob. Um, when he used to do his conversion shows, when he was making those cells,
Hmm.
someone had made a comment like, "Oh, just got tired of Rob making those in the stream. I wanted him to have a quicker way to do it." And that was one of you guys did something with
I
it.
think that was Celestian.
Okay, it
Well,
wasn't
no,
maybe.
there was an earlier one by he works at Smiteworks now,
Okay,
Holloway, James.
okay.
Yes,
And
So
James Holloway.
he did an early version of the CSV importer, and then I created my
okay,
own version, and
okay.
then it went from there.
Celestian did the table importer for tables. Okay,
Yeah,
got it. And that's
that's
already
for rollable
incorporated.
tables. Yeah,
Yeah, that's incorporated now.
Yeah,
So,
we're kind of coming to a close here shortly, so everybody's saying goodbye. People are going to bed. Yeah, we're gonna
yeah.
end the
yep.
stream here in a couple minutes. So we appreciate all you guys coming out and hanging out with us to celebrate Rob's life and to say goodbye to Rob and our last show for all things Fantasy Grounds talk show, which was Rob's baby. But on this Twitch channel, there could be some future stuff going on, so don't delete it. We don't know yet, but there's going to be some talking even after the stream about some stuff. So, any last words from anybody that's still here?
Yeah,
Is
what
he
a
gone
dick.
yet? What a
What
dick!
What
a
a
dick.
dick. That's what we're gonna say. What a dick. So you guys take it
The
easy,
Rob2e What a
and
Dick Memorial.
That's what
yeah,
Rob's
what
prom
a
date
dick.
said.
That's what Rob's prom date said. Thanks for hanging. We love you guys. Talk to you later. See you guys. Bye
Thanks. Good night, everybody.
bye.
Happy
Thank you
gaming,
all.
everybody!
See ya. Love ya.